Hey, folks, thanks for being here. I certainly hope you're having a good day. I'm having a good day. We're going to give you a lot of good information today. And this is a fun show, as all my shows I think are fun, because that's why I do the shows. I have a lot of fun doing it. And we're going to talk about some things today that maybe you've never considered. Because many times when people hear a diagnosis and they say, well, there's only one option. And it's interesting because if I recently got a roof on my house. And I checked around. I checked out a few roofers, and I checked out, was it a good price, what kind of quality product they're going to use. And I went with the one after doing a little research because there was options available to me, and I picked the options that I wanted. Now, when it comes to healthcare, many times there are options available, and you don't know it. Sometimes people come to me and say, well, Dr. Joe, my doctor said I have to have this done. And I said, well, let's consider some options. And I'm not saying don't do what your doctor said. And this show, just so you know, is not telling you not to follow your doctor's advice. I'm not telling you not to take medication. What I'm going to tell you is there might be some other things that you might want to try. Because in my offices, I'm a chiropractor. My offices, we try to get to the cause of their healthcare problems and not just treat the symptoms. I am not against treating symptoms. If I have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, I have no problem taking a nonsteroidal anti-inflammatory over-the-counter medication and then going to one of my doctors in my offices and saying, hey, listen, man, I got this blazing headache. Can you find out why? And they do an analysis on me, and they say, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, we do know why. Here's the cause. And we go ahead and we get it fixed. And it's usually a bone in my neck out of place, and I know my own patterns here. And it's my top bone called my atlas. It slides to the left. My occiput drops down, and I got to get the skull kind of put back on my spine the right way, and then I'm good. And so I want to talk about some alternatives, some scientifically proven alternatives that you might want to consider when it comes to your health care. So a lot of people, like I said, they believe there's no other options. Now, drug safety has become a major issue. Reports from the FDA of serious adverse drug reactions, including deaths, have more than doubled in the past few years. It's more than enough reason for you to do a little research. Because my own father, and I can't prove this, but it's awful coincidental, he was 72, I guess, at the time, and they said, well, you're getting the early signs of possible prostate cancer. So we're going to give you a medication that's going to shut down your production of testosterone, and it's going to stop the growth. Now, some of the side effects of lowering your testosterone, in fact, I think next week I might do a show on testosterone, as a matter of fact, might kind of tie this all together, is it builds muscle mass, makes men grow hair, makes women grow hair. It's your sex drive hormone. But it also makes not only muscles in your biceps and your triceps work. How about your heart? How about your colon? So they gave him this medication. About 2 or 3 months later, he was dead. Fell off the couch, died in front of my mother. Now, when I looked up the side effects of this original drug, one of the side effects was never give this drug to somebody with a heart condition because it can weaken the heart. Well, my father had a heart condition his whole life. He had rheumatic fever as a child, never got it taken care of properly. And his heart on his x-rays was about 2 or 3 times the normal size. It covered most of his chest. Because the body is amazing. When an organ starts to fail, one of the things the body does is it makes the organ bigger to try to work harder. My father's heart was huge, metaphorically as well as really. And when they gave him this medication, a couple of months later, he died. Now, is there any proof that the medication killed him? No, there wasn't. But this is why I want you to think a little bit and say, let me look at the side effects and let me see if there's something else I might want to consider doing. So learn about the side effects. Seek out maybe a secondary opinion, like I did with my roof. I asked a couple of people, who do you like? Who do you use? And consider what lifestyle changes you can make to improve your health instead of maybe treating the symptoms. Not saying you don't want to treat the symptoms. I'm not telling you not to take medication. I'll say that a couple of times. I just want to let you know there's options. So let's talk about pain. Talk about my condition, for example, okay? Nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories, aspirins, they can reduce pain and inflammation, and many times it's used for conditions like arthritis. Now, arthritis, and this is the kicker, arthritis many times is mechanical, not chemical. So what does that mean? Osteoarthritis is when the bones are out of alignment rubbing up against each other. And when the bones rub up against each other, they wear out. Now, as a chiropractor, I see this all day, every day. There's 206 bones in your body. Any one of the bones can come out of place. If the bone comes out of place, we've got to put it back in place to stop it from wearing out. Just like any other machine. If the tires on your car are out of alignment, what do? You put them back in place. It's Pretty simple. So you want to put your bones back in place, one of the reasons being that they can mechanically wear out. Now, this is another kicker, and this isn't taught a lot. I read this in one orthopedic book way back when I was studying I'm board certified in orthopedics as well as chiropractic and pain management and double board certified in nutrition. But the one book said, and this was great, and then I did more research on it, and it was held true, that when you have an injury, the body sends out white blood cells to break down the swelling. Now, those white blood cells are not site-specific. What does that mean? They don't just go to one place. So if I sprain my ankle, my body's going to send out these white blood cells to break up the inflammation. But those white blood cells just don't go to my ankle. They go everywhere. And they'll attack all the joints. So if a joint is already weakened and it's being attacked by your own white blood cells, it's going to cause more damage. And the most vulnerable joints, generally speaking, are the most freely movable, weakest joints in the body. Now, where do you think the most freely movable, weakest joints in the bodies are? Your fingers. So what you're seeing now is that people come to my offices, and you may know somebody too, maybe it's you, and says, I have arthritis in my hands. Could it be the primary spot? Possibly, but most likely that's a secondary spot. What that means is you have an injury, arthritic injury somewhere else, and it's showing up now in your fingers because of this white blood cell attacking the weakest, most freely movable joints, which are your fingers. So we can say, all right, I'm going to take some over-the-counter medications, and that's going to help. Well, it usually does. If I have a blazing headache, I'm more than happy to take an over-the-counter medication, and that usually helps in about a half hour, 45 minutes. My headache gets better. But the concern is that over time, if you take this on a regular basis, it can irritate your stomach, and that it can make the osteoarthritis worse by blocking the repair process. And that's where the problems come in. It's been found that it can actually retard the growth of cartilage, because you're always growing new cartilage. You have chondrocytes, and these are cells that create new cartilage. And if you're constantly taking these medications, it can cause long-term damage. If I'm in pain, I want to get out of pain. I'm just like you and everybody else, but I want you to understand the side effects of what's happening long-term. Take an aspirin once every few months, a couple times a year, probably no big deal. In fact, I'm going to say no big deal. But over time, it's cumulative. Now, there are certain things you can do. You can take things like glucosamine. Glucosamine is a supplement that has been shown, glucosamine chondroitin sulfate, that's been shown to help rebuild cartilage. Well, you got to be careful with that. Because here I am knocking supplements. Okay, you never thought I'd say that, right? But there's good quality and there's bad quality of supplements. And if you're taking, let's say, a glucosamine product, it has to be top of the line. Or any product that can help rebuild cartilage or anything needs to be top of the line. My grandfather, German immigrant, came to America from Germany, 1923, I think, we did our research right. And he was escaping Nazism. So he was a German, came from Germany to Hoboken, New Jersey, which is where I grew up. And he worked on the docks right there at the Hudson River, if you know anything about Hoboken. It's right across the river from New York City. And he worked on the ships as they got bombed or torpedoed. They'd come into New York Harbor. My grandfather would help fix them and send them back out. Now, he came to America as a German during World War II, not speaking English and not having any money. It's a pretty gutsy move. I don't like going out to lunch unless I make sure I got my wallet and my watch and my cell phone and everything else. But he gave me great advice. He was a master carpenter, and he said, Joseph, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. And that's an interesting statement because it's usually true. If I'm going to have brain surgery, I want the best brain surgeon in the world working on me. I don't care if I have to sell my house and mortgage off everything I own. I want the best. In my offices, I try to train all my doctors to act the same way. Why would a patient want to come here? I built my offices. I started with one office 32 years ago with one goal. My goal was where would I go if I needed treatment? Because I wanted to find the best clinic I can go to for chiropractic and natural health care. And that's what we've done. Hopefully we've done well for 32 years now. So when it comes to supplements, always buy the best. So don't go out and buy some cheap version of something and say, oh, well, I took that supplement and it didn't work. In fact, when I read research, and I research all the time, whenever I see an article that is going against what a lot of other research has shown, that, let's say, vitamin C helps colds, they'll say, well, there's a study done that vitamin C doesn't help colds. Inevitably, they're not using the whole food supplement form of whatever the supplement is, they're using a synthetic version. So if you use the whole food natural version of a supplement, the studies I read across the board are pretty consistent. When you start adding a synthetic version of that same supplement, it doesn't work. So for example, vitamin C, a synthetic version would be ascorbic acid. Vitamin B, methylcobalamin and cyclocobalamin. Now, cyclocobalamin can be naturally occurring, but it's usually a synthetic version. And so you want to use a methylcobalamin, which is a vitamin B12. Now, you don't know this because you don't spend the time, the exciting life that I have, researching this stuff all day, every day. So if you're going to use a product to help rebuild cartilage, they usually work pretty well. There's also stem cells. This is new research, which just blows my mind, where you can actually take stem cells from your fat or from your blood or from bone marrow and inject it into the joints, and studies have shown it can help build cartilage. And the success rate, like for a knee, is very high. For the spine is a little lower. But all the research I read, no one ever addressed the fact that the reason you got arthritis in the joint, osteoarthritis, is because the joint was out of alignment and it was wearing out. So imagine if we took something that has a somewhat good success rate, like this stem cell. And again, we don't have a lot of long-term studies on it, so is it going to be have good efficacy? I don't know that. But I think it will. So if we're injecting stem cells and we realign the joints, now we've got a double threat. So that's what I like to do with my patients. I like to give my patients every opportunity to get well. My plan when a patient walks in my offices is to get the nervous system working properly, unpinch the nerves, get the digestive system working properly. If their stomach is pushed up against their diaphragm, they might have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. That's usually a physical problem. And it's always treated chemically. Not always, except in my offices it's not. And we may have to pull or massage the stomach down away from the diaphragm to get the digestive system working. So we want to get the nervous system working, the digestive system working, and get them on a good diet, good quality supplements, good food. And I usually tell my patients, listen, and this is average, give me 60 days. Give me 60 days to do everything I say. If I'm wrong, so what? I'm wrong. But if I'm right, which I am, then you'll say, wow, I should have done this sooner. So that's what we want you to understand, that there's options available. I'm not saying stop taking your medication. I'm not saying you don't need surgery. And I've had doctors send me patients in the past to say, Dr. Joe, this person is going to need surgery. I want you to do everything you can to try to fix them. And if you can't fix them, then I want you to send them back to me and we'll do the surgery. But in many cases, we can fix them, which is pretty cool. And if we can't, then you could always do the surgery. Either way, I want to get the patient as healthy as we can going into the surgery and as healthy as we can coming out of the surgery. That's my plan. And the plan works pretty well. Been doing it for years, and it has a good success rate. So, arthritis, we can take pills to cover up the pain. We can take supplements to help rebuild the joints. But the key here is you want to make sure everything's realigned so when it heals properly. I do the same thing with athletes. I tell the athletes all the time, if you're going to work out, I want you building up strong muscles around straight bones, not strong muscles around crooked bones. That's why so many professional and amateur athletes come to see us, because we try to get to the cause of their problems. And it's pretty exciting when you have an athlete whose career is on the line. I know Sidney Crosby, a while ago, famous hockey player, he got hit and he couldn't skate anymore. He was skating around in circles. And now he was the best of the best. And he went to a chiropractor, somebody I know, a friend, a colleague of mine. And they fixed his brain, and he went out and skated, did great. So getting to the cause of the problem is really what the goal is. All right, let's talk about sleep disorders. A lot of people have sleep disorders. And many times it can be due to pain issues. How many people can't sleep because they have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling? Raise your hands. A lot of you. I know. So we want to get in there and get to the cause of the problem so that you can get some sleep. Sleep is vital because that's when the body heals. And if you're not getting a good night's sleep, your body isn't getting into that healing process. So if you're having sleep issues, there's a couple of things we can do. Number one is we can try taking pills. But pills don't fix the problem. Pills just cover it up. And if you're taking a prescription medication, it can create dependence. You end up being unable to sleep without it. And then there's troubling side effects. There's things like amnesia, daytime drowsiness, headaches, dizziness. So there's some big problems. So if you have a healthcare problem, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive problems, headaches, blurred vision, dizziness, and you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We would love the opportunity to meet with you and see if you have a condition I think we can help. So if you want to make an appointment, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, DRJOEESPOSITO, or just Google Dr. Joe. We're the number one Dr. Joe in the world, so just type in Dr. Joe in your Google search. We come up. And you can book an appointment right online, or you can call us. We accept people with all insurances. We accept people without insurances. We accept car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp injuries. We want to be your doctors. And we'd like for you to give us the opportunity to prove to you that we can hopefully get you well. Now, can we guarantee anything? No, we can't. Now, if you make an appointment, there's 2 rules. If you make an appointment, you got to show up because we're very busy and we don't want you stealing an appointment from somebody else, so don't stiff us. It's bad karma. And number 2, and this is important, if you're not ready to get well, don't make an appointment. Because if we accept you as a patient, we're probably going to recommend some chiropractic treatment. We're going to recommend some nutritional treatment. We may recommend some supplements along the way. But if you're not serious, and it's funny because patients come in our offices every day and they say, Dr. Joe, I've heard you say 100 times, if you're not ready, don't come in. And I wasn't ready a year ago, 2 years ago, 2 months ago. Now I'm ready. So I'm ready to do whatever you say, and we're going to make it happen. And those are my ideal patients because they're ready to make a commitment, and we'll get it fixed. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Now, if you've ever been in a car accident, ever, whether it was yesterday or 50 years ago, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. I've never seen that not happen. So get in and let us realign everything that's been misaligned. I mean, you get in a car accident, certain cars you have to replace the seats because they're slightly out of line. The seat belts have to be recalibrated because they're slightly out of line. What's more important, a seat belt or your life? Get the body fixed so we can get that life back to normal again. So again, the website, drjoeesposito.com. So a little more on sleep. I don't want to stop here. Melatonin is a supplement that's taken, and it's been studied as a natural remedy for insomnia. It seems to work. It's a hormone. It's synthesized in the pineal gland, and it regulates your body's sleep patterns. Melatonin production is influenced by day-night cycles. Light inhibits melatonin secretion, and darkness stimulates melatonin secretion. So if you're having trouble sleeping, one of the things you need to do is make your room totally dark. I have a robot vacuum in my house, and I keep it in my bedroom. And it has a light on it that says it's charging and that it's charged. And I just lay an old sock over the light to make it totally dark. Now, the other day I forgot, and the sock wasn't there, and I fell asleep, and I woke up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I kind of opened my eye a little bit, and I saw some light in the room, and I went, uh-oh, forgot to cover up the light. Took the sock, put it back over it, went back to sleep. So even a little bit of light can affect your melatonin production from your pineal gland. Now, where does the pineal gland get the raw materials to produce melatonin? It just doesn't happen out of the air, and that comes from your digestive system. So if you're having acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, what's happening is you may not be digesting your food properly. So if you're getting acid reflux, heartburn, burping, what probably is happening is your stomach is pushed up against your diaphragm. It's spasmed. So we need to massage or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm so it comes out of spasm so that you can digest your food. Proteins break into amino acid. The amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain, which helps. It's a happy neurotransmitter, helps you calm down and focus. Serotonin becomes melatonin. So how does the pineal gland make melatonin? You got to get this whole system of events occurring, starting with you eating a food and the stomach breaking it down into amino acids. And if you're not doing that, a lot of people, they make fun, I got terrible gas. It's pretty funny. Ha, ha, ha. That's a warning sign. Something's wrong. It's telling you you're not digesting your food. So A, physically, your joints, your stomach and digestive system are spasmed or out of whack. Chemically, you're not producing enough digestive enzymes, and or you're putting in bad food in your body. So you can't just expect the body to eat double beef cheese hamburgers and seasoned fries with artificially processed cheese food spread on them and a soda with artificial sweeteners in it and expect your body to break it down into amino acids to produce neurotransmitters to create melatonin, serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. It can't happen properly. And for a short time, you might get away with it. You will pay the price, always. You never get away with that. You always pay for the sins of your past. That's a karmic thing. It's also a chemical thing and a physical thing. You always pay for the sins of your past. Nobody gets away unscathed. Short term, maybe. Long term, no. So for sleep issues, you want to make sure that the room is dark, the room is quiet, comfortable temperature, 68 to 72 degrees is where most people sleep very well. You want to make sure you're not eating too close to dinner, too close to bedtime, because it takes about 8 hours to get the food from your stomach into your small intestine. And if you have a digestive problem, heartburn, acid reflux, sleep apnea, and you got a stomach full of food, when you lay down, you don't have gravity pulling that food down anymore. So when you lay down, the stomach pushes up against the diaphragm. The diaphragm can't drop down, which is what happens. Your diaphragm drops down, you suck air into your lungs, and now you have trouble sleeping because you can't breathe properly. And many times that's the cause of sleep apnea. And we can give you a CPAP and we can pump oxygen into your nose, or we can get to the cause. Is it always the cause? No. But in most cases it is. And when you can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, get rid of that belly fat. I used to be fat. I totally get what it's like being fat, guys. I used to be fat. I have stretch marks all over my body. When you fix the cause, chemical or physical, the body's able to work normally again. So sleep is vital, and we can take supplements for it or we can take sleep meds for it, but neither of those are getting to the cause. Most cases. Sometimes you may need the supplements. Let's talk about fish oil as an anti-inflammatory. You can take an anti-inflammatory, which works, or you can take fish oil. Fish oil is omega-3 fatty acids. Now, there's a problem with that. Fish oil is a great source of omega-3, but many fish oils are contaminated with mercury. So if you're going to take fish oil, make sure it's certified mercury-free. And there are certain companies out there that certify that. Fish oil, the omega-3 fish oil, has to be converted into a phospholipid form so that you can absorb it. Krill oil is a great source of omega-3, and it's already in the phospholipid form, and the risk of contamination in krill is extremely low compared to fish. So if you're going to do an omega-3, and we all should for brain function and for anti-inflammatory and several other things, you can take krill oil instead of fish oil. It's a better choice. A better choice still is algae oil. Fish don't produce omega-3 fatty acids. Fish get it from eating smaller fish who eat algae. So algae is where the omega-3 fatty acids are formed, and I take algae oil every day. The problem with algae oil? It's more expensive. But this is the kicker. If you're eating a good diet and you got a healthy spine and you've got a good digestive system, you're going to be saving so much money. It's crazy how little money I spend on food compared to everyone I know who doesn't eat the way I eat. It's ridiculous. A lunch for me is $2, $3. Lunch for everybody else is $10, $15, $20. So right there, if you take just one meal, multiply that times 3 meals a day, times weeks, times months, times years, you're saving a ton of money. So I take supplements. I take Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And by the way, everyone should be taking that because that is the minimum amount of nutrients you should be taking every day. And those are on my website, drjoeesposito.com. They're also available on Amazon, too. Then I take a algae oil. And then I've done an analysis on myself, and I take other supplements for me. I take adrenal supplements. So as you get older, the adrenal glands drop. It lowers your hormone levels. So I take adrenal supplements. So we customize plans for every one of our patients. But the minimum you should be taking, in most cases, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And then you can get vitamin D, omega-3s, and we customize that for you. But the supplements, the Super Greens and Essential Source, I have them sitting right here in front of me. I never do a radio show without them. If I have a big day planned, if I have a date, if I'm going hiking, if I have a big lecture, if I'm flying out of town, I'll take a double dose. So those are available. I think everybody should try them at least for 1 month and watch what happens. drjoeesposito.com. Now, if you have a healthcare problem, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, you've ever been in a car accident, sports injuries, I would love the opportunity to meet with you, your friends, your family, and your children, because kids need to make sure that their bodies are lined up properly too. And we get amazing results, in most cases, with children as well. We see ear infections, we see colic, we see back pain, neck pain, focusing disorders. So often we see kids, and we all get excited about it. You can go to my website to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or you can just Google Dr. Joe with the number one Dr. Joe in the world. And we'll set you up a time to come see us. We accept people with all insurances, people without insurances, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comps. But remember, if you've ever been in a car accident, your body was damaged, you need to get us fixed. If it was yesterday or 50 years ago. But if you make an appointment, you got to show up and get ready to get well, because we, in my offices want to get you well and keep you well. Folks, got to go to a break. Do me a favor. Tell your friends about the show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. I do appreciate your time because I know you're all busy, but hopefully we're going to give you enough information that you're going to want to tune in today and every day because we want to give you the information that you need to naturally get well and stay well. And today we're talking about clinically proven natural alternatives, things that you might have never considered for a lot of your healthcare problems. Once again, I'm not telling you to not take your medication. I'm not telling you to not follow your doctor's advice. I'm telling you there might be some options you might want to consider. So a lot of people come into our offices and they have cholesterol issues and they take statin drugs. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Statin drugs, the way they work is they go into your liver and they stop your liver. They shut down an enzyme that produces cholesterol. So the theory is this, that your liver is producing too much cholesterol, and so you have to stop the production of it to lower the cholesterol in your blood. Sounds like a good plan. Does it work? It does. Absolutely. I have no problem with that. You have high cholesterol, you take statin drugs, most people are going to lower their cholesterol. But here's the catch. The same enzyme that produces cholesterol produces something called coenzyme Q10 or CoQ10. CoQ10 goes into your mitochondria, the part of your cells that produce energy. I remember learning mitochondria way back in grammar school or maybe high school, I don't remember. Anyway, as the powerhouse of the cell. It's where you generate power. So what happens is you're not producing enough coenzyme Q10, so your cells now don't get enough CoQ10. The mitochondria can't produce energy. The cells become weak. You get weak. So a lot of people that take statin drugs are tired all the time. Their muscles are weak. Their muscles are fading. Gosh, I used to have pec and biceps, and I don't have that anymore. That's why. So a minimal approach that you should take is if you're taking statin drugs, make sure you're taking a very high quality, not the cheap stuff, the good stuff, coenzyme Q10 as a supplement, okay? There's ubiquinol and ubiquinone, okay? You want to stay away. The ubiquinol is the version you want to take because there's two versions and one is good and one isn't. So even there, you got to be careful. The new research is showing something different, though. The new research is showing that you're producing the right amount of cholesterol, most cases, but your liver is not recycling the old stuff. And that's why the cholesterol levels get high. And so now we got a problem. It's not that you're producing too much cholesterol. It's that your liver is probably, not every case, but probably clogged up and you're not recycling the old stuff. So we can stop producing it on the production end. Or what if we just cleaned up your liver so you can start recycling it again? Because if the liver's clogged up, something's wrong with the liver. Once again, getting to the cause of the problem, not just treating the symptoms. I am not telling you to stop taking your statin drugs. Do not do that. What I am saying is, what if we got you healthy enough that you didn't need the statin drugs? Now, 1 in 100 people have genetically high cholesterol, which means you're producing it. And you're producing way too much, and those people probably benefit from taking statin drugs. The rest of you probably want to straighten out your lifestyle. And if you do, you'll be very happy. Because it's not just the liver that's going to heal. Everything's going to heal. The body is going to heal. And that's my goal, is get you healthy, get the nervous system working, the digestive system working, and get your diet straightened out. If we can do that, you're going to be happy. Most people are. I tell people do everything I say. Give me a couple of months. If I'm wrong, so what? I'm wrong. But if I'm right, which I am, you'll be happy and you'll decide you want to do this for the rest of your life. Some people, it's funny, I have to bribe them. And I say, listen, I'm going to lie to you right now. And I'll say, listen, here's the deal. Do what I say for 60 days. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So what? But if I'm right, which I am, I want you to do this forever. But here's the deal. Do it for a couple of months and go back to your old lifestyle if you want. Just give me a couple of months to prove me right or wrong. And I said, the reason I'm lying to you is after a few months and you do this and you realize what we're doing is working, getting the spine lined up, getting this digestive system working, fixing any acid reflux you might have, you're not going to want to go back to this lifestyle. You can go back at any time. I can't make you change your life, but you're not going to want to. And so I have to lie to them a little bit. And I tell them I'm lying to them, and they're okay with that. So back to the cholesterol. So if we clean up our liver, we're going to be in pretty good shape. Now, some people take red yeast rice instead of statins because red yeast rice is a natural supplement. And, of course, it must be better. Well, in this case, the answer is no, it's not. because red yeast rice works the same way the statin drugs does. It shuts down your production of the chemical. It's called HMG CoA reductase inhibitor. That's the fancy word for it. And it's shutting down that reductase inhibitor the same way the statin drugs does. So just because it's natural in this case doesn't mean it's good for you, because you're still not producing the CoQ10, and in most cases, you're not getting to the cause of the problem. And it's so cool. When patients come in, and it happens all day, every day, which is why after 32 years of practice, I'm still probably more excited now than I ever have been. When patients come in and say, Dr. Joe, I did what you said, and unbelievable. I don't need blank medication, blank. They fill in the blanks anymore. And I said, did you stop taking it? They said, no. I went to my doctor. I did exactly what you said, got my test results. Doctor said, you know what? Your blood pressure is back to normal again. You don't need the meds. Your cholesterol is better. Your liver enzymes are better. And that's what's exciting. Because I wonder, how far-reaching is that going to be? The founder of chiropractic, Dr. B.J. Palmer, in 1950-something said, you never know how far-reaching a thought, deed, or action is going to be and how it's going to affect millions now and in the future. Boy, is that ever true. Imagine I get this person well, and they're a better mother, father, sister, brother, boyfriend, girlfriend, churchgoer, employee, and so now their children are raised in a different environment, and that child goes on to do great things because they had a good, healthy family environment to grow up in. I don't know how far-reaching it's going to be. How far-reaching it would be if you were healthy. Think what your life would be like if you were healthy. You didn't have the back pain, neck pain, headaches, numbness, tingling. That lady came in the other day. Italian lady. She talked like every aunt I ever had. And she comes in the first visit, and I treat her and send her on her way. She comes in the next day to go over her findings. We usually go over exam findings if we took x-rays, and tests that we did. And then we put together a treatment plan. And she's laying on a table. She gets up. She goes, you ain't going to believe this. And I looked at her. I said, uh-oh, what? She's going to hit me? And she says, I ain't had one headache since you did this thing to my neck last time. I had headaches my whole blank life, and you fixed my headaches. I said, well, that's great. And she was excited. She hugs me. And I said, now, don't be tempted to think that you're fixed in one visit. It's going to take time to do the repair work. She goes, Dr. Joe, anything you say, I'm going to do. And it made me smile because, like I said, I had every aunt in the world who talked like that. So, coming Italian family from Hoboken, New Jersey, right? But it was exciting, and that happens all day, every day. And that's why it's fun. So, I digress a bit there. So be careful if you're taking the red yeast rice or the statin drugs. The CoQ10 is important, but fixing it, I think, would be a better choice. Painkillers. People take painkillers all day, every day. In fact, I did a show a while ago that the life expectancy in the United States is dropping. And we're the only industrialized nation where the life expectancy is dropping. And one of the reasons is we're killing ourselves, and one of the reasons is drug overdoses and opioid drug overdoses. Opioids cover up pain. You're in severe pain, take those opioids, man. They work great. But understand, I don't care who you are, you can become an addict. Larry the Cable Guy says, right? I don't care who you are, that's funny. I don't care who you are, that's serious. Because you think you're tough, and you can be a Navy SEAL, and you can be the roughest, toughest person you've ever met, and you've got this strong willpower. When you start taking opioids, certain people have a predisposition to become addicted, and you don't know you're one of them until you are. And that's where the problem comes in. So you start taking opioids, covers up the pain, you start coming off the opioids, and you want more. And people have lost their homes, their families, their lives because of this addiction. Now, they work great. They cover up pain. But they really never get to the cause of the problem. Sometimes you need them. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying if there's a better choice, I want you to consider that. There's anti-seizure medication, which is very popular. Those can become addicting as well. Now, there's a chemical in your brain called GABA. And GABA is a neurotransmitter, 4 major neurotransmitters, dopamine, norepinephrine, GABA, and serotonin. GABA suppresses other neurotransmitters. And about 90% of your brain is suppressing the other 10%. And so when the balance is off, we have things like seizures. We may have uncontrolled movements, Parkinson's disease, because we're not, the chemistry in the brain is off. So we can take an external source, like GABA can help cover up pain, we're all in pain all day, every day. The GABA suppresses it. If the GABA production is off, you may be feeling a lot more pain. Things like fibromyalgia. Anybody know what that is, fibromyalgia? Anybody have it? Yeah. Many times fibromyalgia is a brain issue, not a body issue. Because if I have fibromyalgia and you don't, we have the same experiences in life. We sit at a desk, we did gardening, we hit our finger with a hammer. One of us who has normal GABA production will say, ow, that hurts, and move on. The people with fibromyalgia can be debilitating and even to the point of people committing suicide. I had a lady come in several years ago. Her husband was with her. She looked me straight in the eye. She goes, I give up. I've tried everything. I've tried every drug. She goes, if you can't help me, I'm going to kill myself. And her husband looked at me with tears in his eyes and said, she's not kidding. He says, Doc, you're our last hope. Well, fast forward a couple of years later, she now works full time. Her daughter rides horses. She goes to the horsing events. Horsing events? Is that a word? Horse riding events? And she's thrilled. She's able to function in society, and she's so happy. Her husband, very smart man, PhD, has thanked me 1,000 times over. He says, you've given me my wife back. I said, you're welcome. But I didn't give your wife back. I just got her body working normally again. So it's pretty exciting. So we can take these medications to help the pain or the seizures, but they can include side effects, drowsiness, confusion, dizziness, trouble walking. And so what we want to do then is how can we essentially reboot the brain? Well, number one, let's get to the cause of the pain, if it's a pain issue. I've had people come in with headaches because they sprained their ankle. Because if the ankle's out of alignment, you're walking and 1/4 of the bones in your body are in your ankle. The other 1/4 is in your hands as well. And the other 50% are the rest of your body. So if one of the bones in your ankle comes out of place and you're walking crooked, that can affect your knee, which can affect your hip, which can throw your spine out of place, which can cause your skull to shift, which can cause headaches. So when you evaluate, many times we're not treating the pain, which might be the head. We're treating the cause of the pain, which in some cases might be the foot. So getting to the cause of the problem is what me and my doctors are really good at. Can we help everyone? No, we can't. Let's get real. Can we help most people? Yeah, major majority. The biggest problem I have with patients is they say, why didn't I do this sooner? And I say, I don't know that because I don't know why you didn't come here sooner. And then compliance. And that's not a big problem. It's a minor problem. But some people feel better and think they know better than us. I had a patient a couple of days ago. She came in, feisty old woman, and she was just arguing with me left and right. And I just looked at her. I said, listen, do whatever you want. Your neck is out of place. You have arthritis in your low back. Your diet is terrible. You have acid reflux. You got to fix these things. Your shoulders hurt. Your shoulders are out of socket. We got to set them back into socket. I said, do what you want. I'm not going to argue with you. This is what you need. Whatever you decide to do is up to you. So she said, well, I'm going to let you treat me today. I said, gee, that's a treat. So I went in there and adjusted her. Did my work. I adjusted her shoulders, her neck, her back. She comes in the next day, and one of my secretaries comes into my office and says, blank is here. She goes, she's feisty. She don't like you. I said, okay. So I walk in her room, and she said, but she'll only see you. She won't see any other doctors. She wants to see you today, and then she'll see other doctors from there. I said, okay. So I walk in her room. She goes, I don't like you. I don't like the way you told me what to do. I said, okay. She said, I will tell you this. My shoulders have never felt better in my entire life than after you treated me yesterday. She goes, so I want to thank you. And I'm glad you made me listen to me, and I'm glad you got tough with me and made me straighten out. I said, you're welcome. I sent in one of my other doctors, and she went on with her treatment. So getting to the cause of the pain is going to be one of the keys if we're taking a pain pill, of course. Then we want to make sure that the GABA production is right in the brain. Now, there's a blood supply in your neck. It runs between your bones. It's called the basovertebral artery. And it runs up the back of your neck in between the bones and supplies your neck. The carotid arteries in the front supply blood to the brain as well. So if the bones in the neck are out of place, you can be pinching the blood supply to the brain. And that can be affecting brain function, including GABA production. If you're not digesting your food properly, if you're not breaking proteins into amino acids, the amino acid glutamine becomes GABA. So if you don't have enough raw materials to produce the GABA in your brain, GABA, you can't suppress the pain. So that's why with our patients, we check everything from head to toe if we have to, including the digestive system, to get the body working. Then we try to suppress the pain. Now, there's things like alpha-lipoic acid. That's been shown to help. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's an antioxidant. It helps with insulin sensitivity. So alpha-lipoic acid might be something we add to your supplement protocol. I always get most people, on Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source to give you the raw materials your body needs to work. I believe almost everyone should be taking Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. I mix it with coconut milk. I have it sitting in front of me right now, and I take it at least once a day. So I would strongly advise that if you're not willing to do anything else, you're not willing to get chiropractic care, you're not willing to fix your digestive system, at least take something that your body needs, a good high-quality supplement like Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I take a scoop of each, mix it with coconut milk, shake it in a jar because it blends better, and then I drink it. But if you're willing to do more, we add that to your protocol. And those are available on my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe with the number 1 Dr. Joe in the world. And it's also available on Amazon. We have a lot of products like my books and other products on Amazon as well, and my supplements. And they're on the website. Now, if you want to come see us as a patient, you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, we would love to have the opportunity to see if we can accept you as a patient and see if it's something we can help. If it's something we can help, we'll tell you. If it's something we can't help, we'll tell you that too. Our best guess, of course. So if you want to make an appointment, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe with the number 1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we'll set you up a time to come in. We accept people with all insurances. We accept people without insurance. We accept car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp injuries. If you've ever been in a car accident and the car was damaged, you were damaged. You are not stronger than your car, I promise you. I don't care who you are. So to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, and we'll get you set up for an appointment. You can call the office, too, if you have questions, and the number's on the website as well, drjoeesposito.com. So we're talking today about clinically proven alternatives, natural alternatives, to a lot of your healthcare problems. So we talked about pain pills and how you can take certain pain pills to help cover up your pain, or we can get to the cause of your pain, which is usually misaligned bone, could be a disease process, could be a nutritional issue. A lot of people come to us with osteoporosis or osteopenia. Osteopenia is the early stages of osteoporosis. So if you have thinning of the bones, many times your doctor might prescribe a medication, and that medication is to help make your bones stronger. This is how they work. You have 2 types of bones, 2 types of cells in your bones. One is called osteoblasts, which build up your bone. They lay down new bone tissue. And osteoclasts kind of clean up the old dying and dead tissue. So you always have there's new cells coming up. Well, what happens is the medications stop your body from producing osteoclasts. Okay, that makes sense. Stop breaking down the bone, stop disposing of it, and you'll build stronger bones. And the answer is maybe not. Because if you just get rid of the old bones and you keep the new bones, you may not be growing the new bones fast enough. And if you leave the old stuff in there, it's like building a house with weak bricks. You may get a house out of it, but that house isn't going to be as stable as a good solid house would be with good bricks. So what I find works real well is getting to find out why somebody has osteoporosis. And in many cases, not all, but many, it's your diet. If you eat a lot of acid foods, what I call the 7 deadly sins, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. If you're eating a lot of acid foods, your body is using calcium to neutralize the acid foods because your body has to maintain a certain level of acid and alkaline balance called a pH balance. And if you're sucking calcium out of your bones to neutralize the acids, the bones now become weak. And bones are made up a lot more than just calcium. Calcium, magnesium, boron, vitamin D. You need everything in a bone. You can't just throw calcium at a bone and expect people to get better. I've never seen somebody get better from osteoporosis by just taking calcium because you need everything, not just one. It's like trying to make a cake and leaving out one of the ingredients, like the eggs, for example. Well, the eggs might be just a minor amount, but they're the things that are going to hold everything together. So without that one ingredient, the cake isn't going to work. So without that little bit of boron or silica or vitamin D, the bone is not going to form properly. So that's why I recommend getting off the acid foods, get off the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. Eat more fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Take supplements, at least Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. And then let's monitor your progress. And I'll tell people, if you're on a medication, don't come off the medication. Let's just see what happens if you do it my way. as Frank Sinatra, who also was from Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm from Hoboken too. He said, I did it my way. So let's try my way along with your way. And let's see if we get better results. Chances are you will. You need vitamin D as well. Most of us are deficient in vitamin D. In the summer and spring, in the warmer weather, I want you out in the sun about 20 minutes a day. 20 minutes of sun is going to give you about 20,000 international units of vitamin D. So if you can't get out in the sun, I'm too busy. I know I came to work one day, ran into one of my colleagues here, and she said something about she got to work at 7 o'clock. She goes, yeah, I get here at 7. I leave about 6. She goes, so I'm not out in the sun. I don't exercise. I said, well, at least when you're driving, and it's tough for her because she's driving at weird hours, get out for 10, 15 minutes. I said, when you go on your break for 10 minutes, go sit on the we have a deck here at the studio. Go sit out on the deck and get 10 minutes of sun to build up that vitamin D level. Because without vitamin D, the bones can't form, but also your immune system can't function. You need that vitamin D. If you're going to take a vitamin D supplement, make sure it's vitamin D3, not vitamin D2. Vitamin D2 is the synthetic version of vitamin D3, and vitamin D3, depending on the study you read, is several hundred times more effective than vitamin D2. And try to eat it with something fatty. Olive oil, coconut oil, nuts, avocados, because it's a fat-soluble, it's not really a vitamin, it's a hormone, but a fat-soluble vitamin, and it gets absorbed better if you have fat. So there you go, getting bigger bang for your buck. Once again, it's so much less expensive to be healthy than it is to be sick if you know how. And here's the cool part. You don't have to spend hours researching. I have it all on my radio shows. It's on my website. I archive every one of my shows. We've got hundreds of hours of radio shows. And the price for all that, access to all my radio shows and videos, lectures that I do. I videotape my lectures when I can, and they're on my website as well in case you're a visual learner. A lot of people like to watch the videos. The cost for all of that, nothing. It's complimentary. It's my gift to you. I've been yelled at by people in IT saying, why don't you charge for that? My gosh, Dr. Joe, you're getting, I don't know how many hits, tens of thousands of hits on your website. Why are you not charging for that? I said, because this information is too important. So if you go to my website, you'll see access to my radio shows, my videos, articles that I've written, drjoeesposito.com, or you can just Google Dr. Joe with the number one Dr. Joe in the world. If you want to get Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, other supplements, we have a great colon cleanser, which is, people love that stuff. If you have constipation, if your bowels aren't moving 2 to 3 times a day, not a week, get Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser, kind of help jumpstart your bowels. That's on the website as well. My books, Eating Right for the Health of It, Prescription for Extreme Health, those are on my website as well. Somebody posted an email, a Facebook posting, and said, does anyone know the ingredients of Dr. Joe's mango salad? I had it at a restaurant one day. There's a restaurant near my office that serves it. It's the number one seller in their restaurant. Does anyone know that recipe? And so I just happened to see the post, and I said, I know somebody who might have the recipe. And then I posted it for her. And they got so many hits. Everyone was thrilled with it. It's a really great salad. It's an avocado mango salad. It's off the chart. But anyway, I digress. But I give this stuff away because I want you to have this information, because I want you to get well and stay well naturally. And that's why I want to thank you for telling your friends. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. We send out good information. My website, you can send me your email address, and we'll send you there's a link on the website, and I'll send you a lecture that I did called So What Can I Eat? And it talks about what you can eat. On my videos, I have the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, the 7 foods you want to avoid, tons of other lectures. So spend a little time, and you'll be amazed how much information you'll get and how it can dramatically change your life for the better, not just you, your friends, your family, and your children. If you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Again, we do chiropractic work, nutritional work, non-surgical pain management work. Go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and just Google Dr. Joe, number one Dr. Joe in the world, and we'll set you up a time to come see us. We accept people with insurance, without insurance, car accidents, sports injuries. We'll tell you if we can help you. If we think we can help you, we'll tell you that. If we think we can help you, we're going to tell you that too. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. If you're not ready to make changes in your life, some changes, even if you don't do everything I say, if you're not willing to make some changes, now is not the time to make an appointment. When you're serious, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're serious about wanting to get well, go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, and you can book the appointment right there. You can call us, too, if you want, and we'll go ahead and, some people have questions. But we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. So we try to make it as easy as we can for you. We're open late. Marietta office is open on Saturdays. We want to be your doctors. We want to get you well and keep you well. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for telling your friends about the show, and we'll catch you next time.